Well, step into one home in Pennsylvania and you aren't just stepping into history. You are immediately immersed with artifacts that are tied to an individual who's credited for the colonization of the Americas. This weekend, we're traveling the countryside to uncover the story behind a historic home and chapel that features quite the collection you have to see to believe.
This old barn may look like it's a part of any farmstead in central Pennsylvania, but take a tour of this property and you'll find links to one of the first land-grant universities in the nation and artifacts tied to an explorer of the 1400s.
The Boal family that established a farm here in central Pennsylvania had roots in Ireland. They ended up on the wrong side of a revolt there in 1798, and one of the men in the Boal family had to escape capture and execution by the British Crown.
His wife and son obtained tickets to come to the United States on an American flag ship, and he was inside their luggage, and once they were outside of England, he crawled out a free man on an American ship.
The trunk in which David Boal hid is here at the Boal Mansion near State College, Pennsylvania. They were truly pioneers for this area.
And they bought 100 acres at this site where nobody else was settled. Now we have Penn State here, but they were the first settlers in the shadows of Mount Nittany.
David Boal's son, George, became a lawyer, expanded his holdings to about 12,000 acres, and helped establish the Central Pennsylvania Agricultural Society. In the 1850s, that society petitioned for a high school to teach agriculture. It later became Penn State University. Each generation of Boals began to expand this mansion, 34 rooms today. One generation had a marriage that resulted to a tie to a well-known world explorer.
The fourth generation's wife was of French nobility, but her mother's side of the family was Spanish. And her aunt, Victoria Montalvo, was the lady-in-waiting for the Queen of Spain in the middle of the 1800s.
And that aunt married a descendant of Christopher Columbus and moved to the Columbus family castle. They had no children, so upon her death, she willed a third of her estate to her niece living here in Boalsburg, Pennsylvania, in this mansion. Some artifacts from the Columbus family castle came here, including the family's Catholic chapel.
The basic chapel architecture and the artwork and the altar furniture all date from about 1550 to 1560.
That's a piece of wood from the True Cross of Christ, given to the family in 1817 by the Bishop of Lyon. You'll find statuary and vestments from the chapel that are hundreds of years old as well. And next to the chapel, there's an important item tied to Columbus and his world explorations.
We have his sea chest. Now we know that belonged to him or his son, and don't know which, if any, of the voyages that went on, but it's from that time. As well as we have 167,000 pages of records from the Columbus family, the oldest of which is 1359.
Many people are amazed to find such items with a direct tie to Columbus and his family in central Pennsylvania. It's quite a collection to see, items that date to well before the founding of this nation. Traveling the countryside in Boalsburg, Pennsylvania, I'm Andrew McCrae.
That was so fascinating. Thank you, Andrew. Well, when we come back, we're traveling to Illinois to see another incredible collection, but this one features more classic iron. Tractor Tales is next.
U.S. Farm Report is brought to you by Fendt. 11 farms, 11 days, one ideal combine. The Fendt Harvest Tour is on. Tune in for real farmer stories during peak harvest season to see how the Fendt Ideal performs when every second counts.